In the previous fleet update video, I said this was for sale. I said the Pajero Junior was for sale. I said the electric bike was for sale, tyres, various things. There's quite a lot that just needs to go. And that has been happening. You will note the Berlingo is sitting where the Pajero Junior was sitting. Pajero Junior is gone, off to Cornwall for a new life, hopefully a better life. Amusingly, someone who saw my first video on it when we found it in the scrapyard phoned the scrapyard to say he wanted it, and I'd already bought it by that point. So what he's ended up doing is paying less than the scrapyard wanted for a better version of the car he wanted. He's the winner here, but I'm a winner as well because I don't have to stress about it anymore. It is gone, and the Berlingo is sat here instead. So why is the Berlingo still here? Well, people on Facebook may have noticed that I put a post up, or rather we put a post up saying that the Berlingo was no longer for sale, it was withdrawn, and I apologise. There were quite a few people who were interested, and I extend my apologies to you. There was a mild misjudgment of the situation. I thought I had approval to move this car on from the whole family, but it turns out the rest of the family are quite attached to this car, so that hasn't quite happened. So I had to pull it from sale. I mean, to give a bit of background, Miss Hubnut is working a job that at the moment is quite often 13-hour days, and actually speaking to each other is proving rather difficult. So there was definitely a communication bypass going on, and so it's still here, but I don't really know why. I've actually now declared this off the road. In the UK, that means you've cancelled the vehicle tax, which means you can then take the insurance off, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got a new vehicle coming to the fleet, hopefully next week. It might be this week by the time you see this video, and I need the insurance slot. I can't afford to insure every vehicle we own, so I insure some of them. The Vel Satis has been off the road for July because we were away for a good chunk of July, and it made no sense to tax it. It's about 70 quid a month. Or something like that. It is not a cheap car to tax. Why spend that money if I'm not going to be driving it? And also, as it's declared sawn off the road for July, I don't have to insure it either. So savings all round. It's good times. Incidentally, the Invercar is back insured with Haggerty again, and they came out top of the tree when it came to coverage versus cost. So thanks, Haggerty. They originally sponsored the rescue of the Invercar. Without their initial help, that would not have happened. I was even more skint than I am now. I had nothing. I didn't have 2 pennies to run together, so I bought this and TPA, the spares car. They were down in Sussex. I didn't know how I was going to actually collect them. I had no money, no way of affording it. In the end, I was able to hire a truck thanks to Haggerty, and yeah, the rest you already know. Sherard, I've got a few things. I'm going to try a bit of lubrication on the strut mounts, and we'll see if that eases them up a bit. I suspect it probably needs new ones, but I'm not getting anywhere with it. We'll redo it back together on the road working. So that'll be another car to insure and tax, but at least the insurance and tax not too bad on that. But the Vel Satis is open at the moment because I'm going to start doing some interior improvements. And Desmond the Canary must get a shout out because he passed the MOT this morning. Well done, Desmond. And just advisories for brake discs being slightly pitted, which is what happens in Wales. There are times Desmond has done 10,000 miles in a year, but has been parked up sometimes for a week or two in here, which gets horribly damp. I suspect that's why the discs got pitted. The Panda is still just sat there waiting for its time. And it's kind of a fallback car, really. If everything else breaks, we got the Panda. Betty, the Ford AU, currently at home, has been not used very much lately, to be honest, because fuel costs, and I have to choose my use of that car very carefully because she is so bad on fuel. But I need to crack on with what I was going to do today, which is Vel Satis. I don't know why that's what I'm doing today, but that's what I'm going to do. Let's go. So the Vel Satis is open just to cool it down a bit, but what I want to do is sort out these grubby seats. They're rather grim, so we need to clean up the leather, and we need to try and clean up the plastic as well, because we've got these soft touch plastics that have just gone horrible. I've actually put some vinyl and dashboard cleaner over it, and I mean, you can run your hand over it now in a way you couldn't before. It just stuck. Yeah, all this soft touch stuff, it's a lot smoother to the touch, but it still looks absolutely terrible. So what we're going to try today, I've been to see Lewis at Whiteland Restorations, and he's loaned me a bottle of Bill Hamber's degreaser, and we're going to try that. He's used that to good effect. So what I'm going to do is dilute it a bit, spray it on, and then we're just going to let it soak for a bit, and then we're going to rub it off with an old tough brush. You just need a bristle brush, and we'll give that a go and see if that does anything. Look at the state of it. It's just absolutely revolting. So this is a soft touch plastic, which is lovely when it's brand new, but as soon as it gets any age on it, absolutely ruined. And oh yeah, secret storage. Woo! There's your little tray and your cup holders. That is tidying up a bit in there as well. Gloves on, because this is nasty stuff. You don't really want it on your hands. It literally sucks the grease out of your hands. And hopefully I find the spray setting. I'm going to try that out the door. Yeah, that should be... There we go. Put that on the floor outside, so when I kick it over, it's not in the car. And then we got a little tough brush. So I'm just gonna... not going too aggressive at this point. We're just kind of mixing it in a bit, really. Let that do its thing, and then we'll give it a more energetic scrub with this form. I've used an electric toothbrush head because the handle's shorter, so it's a bit easier to get in around stuff. But yeah, see if it makes any difference at all. After about 20 or 30 minutes of scrubbing and reapplication and scrubbing and more, what does it look like now? Well, this is the result. It's still sticky. There's places where it's almost come off completely. Look at that. That's smooth, but that is still a bit sticky. And trying to get into all the crevices here, that area above the heater controls, is very difficult. This is the security panel, and it's better, but you can see it's still quite terrible. And this is the stereo. Notice we've taken what was left. That was already quite knackered. That was the name there. But all the mank that was along there has gone, and that's getting better. But you can see it kind of turns it into this sticky glue. But I guess it was probably a soft finish applied with glue from the factory. So it's I'm going to have to just do more of it, I think, to try and improve it. I also accidentally taken the hazard warning light decal off. That one not very strong. All the others seem okay, but they seem to be aware of. Speaking of which, a lot of people suggested using isopropyl alcohol or petrol or something, a much stronger solvent, but that is one of the issues, that it will likely take the decals and perhaps even the colour out of the plastic. So you have to use this stuff with care, but it's certainly a lot better. But I'm a bit disappointed it hasn't taken more off. When Lewis did it, to be fair, Lewis actually removed the pieces of plastic and soaked them in that stuff overnight, I think. So when he came in the next day, it was all really, really soft and ready to come off. I think especially when you're working on vertical surfaces, it's hard to get it to stay there and soak in, perhaps as much as you like. But I don't really want to dismantle half the dashboard. It's a French car. That could be a very bad idea. All the clips will break and bits will ping off and we'll never see them ever again. So I'm not doing that. So I think I will just do another run of that. I might spray some on, leave it to soak, and do something else for a bit. Well, after 2 goes, I think I'm going to call that moderately successful. It's definitely, that's nice and smooth. That is still nice and sticky. This panel I cannot get clean at all, but the stereo has improved no end. That's a lot better. And this heater panel is still a bit iffy in places. I guess you just need to keep going over it again and again and again, which I probably haven't got the appetite for. So I think I'm going to come back another day and we'll start on the seats. It is the next day, and it was a bit of a fraught night last night. It's my fault for wearing my Hubnut Goes Global with Aberystwyth sign on it, because I had to go and do a grocery run in Betty. So, you know, fair enough, these things need to happen. And then I had just brought Betty up to the unit. I was walking home, which is a fair old trek, but I need the steps. And I was about halfway home when Miss Hubnut messaged to say one of her colleagues had managed to slice their hand open. And the joys of catering, eh? Not in food, don't worry. No food was harmed. And they needed taken to hospital. Because you don't want to get an ambulance out for a cut hand. That's not the end of the world. And she actually rang the 111 number, which is the alternative to 999, and is more an advice line. And they said, well, really, it's going to have to be glued or stitched, so you're going to have to get him to A&E. Any lesser centre, like walk-in centres and minor injury units, are closed at that time of night. So I had to leg it home, jump in Desmond, the hero canary, and we belted back to Aberystwyth again in the rain, of course, in the rain. And you know, I'm going as fast as little Desmond will go, and we still kept getting overtaken. Not the fastest ambulance in the world, poor little Desmond. But yeah, it was a bit of a fraught night. I was meant to be going and getting Ellie today, but having got back home at like 2 o'clock in the morning, to be fair to the NHS, pretty quick turnaround last night in A&E. Yeah, it was just, it ended up being a really late night, and I was just like, it takes so long to get to Hereford on public transport that by the time we'd sort of got up and faced the day, it was already too late. So apologies to Sparrow Automotive. I will be heading there tomorrow, hopefully, to go and collect Ellie. And then next week I've got more transport woes, because the new car is in Southend, which is right the other side of the country. It's literally coast to coast. And I'm one of the widest points of the UK, so that'll be fun. May do a one-way car hire, but even then I've got to get to Carmarthen first, so it's complicated. Why am I complicating myself? I have loads of cars, but I don't have one of what I'm getting. That's the problem. But anyway, probably going to continue with a bit of work on the Vel Satis today, but first of all, I'm going to set the comment section madly into a blind panic, because I'm going to try and lubricate the top mounts on the Sherard here. So I'm not saying it's been far too long, but I'll just clear the cobwebs out of the way. It's been far too long. So turn. Yes, something up there is not very happy. But it sounds more rubbery to me than bearingy. So I'm going to have to lie on the floor. No, I don't need to lie on the floor. I've got my funky crawler. Yeah. And try and see where on earth I'm meant to be sticking this. I'm going to need a light of some sort to see what's going on. Now I'm artistically illuminated. I do prefer a mains light, you know, they just bloody work. Just squirt a load of that up there and see if it's made any difference at all. No, not really. Oh, maybe. Yeah, there's definitely a squeakiness. But that strikes me as not a good noise. Am I just wasting my time here? Do I just need to get some strut mounts? But then you're like, well, the boot's not in great shape on the shock absorber, so should I replace the shock absorber? And then you're like, well, we're here. Shall we do springs? And this is the problem with cars. Things escalate, and at some point you have to draw a line before you end up rebuilding the entire car. But yeah, I can't help thinking we need to get this out and have a proper look at it. I don't think getting the strut out is too big a challenge, other than the fact I've got a brake caliper cable tied to it at the moment. I think it just is those bolts at the top. So, well, let's do that, and at least we can better see what we're working with. Because at the moment I'm kind of guessing in the dark. Just quickly, while I'm crawling around on the ground, don't forget you can support Hubnut, because this video is not sponsored, by visiting the Hubnut store, where I don't think we've got this design available. I'm good at this. We have got other designs, like Tuck designs, Tuck the Invercar here. We've got her designs. We've got these Chemi designs. We've still got Bella de Bolingo, if you fancy a bit of Bella de Bolingo action. We have got a Betty design, it's just not this one. I think it's Betty Goes Global. So all that is available at the Hubnut store, or consider a channel membership. There'll be a link in the description telling you more about that, or you can support us on Patreon. There's a link to that, or simplest of all, there's Buy Me a Coffee. There will be a link to that. You can set up, I think you can now set up recurring payments, but you can also just do a one-off payment. I just want to support you in this moment. That'd be absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. Or for no cost to you whatsoever, just give us a like, comment down below, give us a share, tell your friends. Thank you very much. Right, let's get this out. Right, that's all three in there. So I think it is just now these two, and the whole unit should drop out down the bottom now. So I think we'll just pop a little bit of lubrication on these points, just to help them down there. And what do we reckon, 14s do we think? Here's a 12 to try and help judge. Oh no, it is actually a 12. That's handy because I've got a 12 just down here. So I'm not going to get a whizzy gun in there, am I? But, oh yeah, that one's spinning. They don't need to be massively tight because they're not really taking the forces. All they're doing is holding the strut against the body. All the forces has been held in this reinforced section here. So there we go. I'm probably going to need to support it from beneath while I undo those. I suspect otherwise the whole lot's just going to drop out, isn't it? Actually, it should be alright. All it's going to do is drop onto the drive shaft, which is being held up by the yeah, by that. So I think we're alright, actually. Let's get these undone. And you're asking yourself why we're doing this, why are we bothering on this car, which we paid £190 for and should surely throw in the bin. That would be the sensible thing to do. But this is Hudnup. We don't do the sensible thing. We accept that with cars there is an emotional attachment. Obviously a larger one with family members with Bella de Bolingo than I realised. I suspect it's because they've never forgiven me for selling Cecily the Citroen C5, a car of which we were hugely fond. But the problem with Cecily, don't put that across the battery terminals, was that Cecily needed a lot of money spending. And the whole point of getting Bella was to save money. Okay, they may have a point. Yeah, we should have just spent the money on Cecily. But Cecily had an amazing amount of work. Clutch, head gasket, the brakes were completely gone through. There was loads. It's all on the, well, not all of it. Most of it is on the up and down channel. And C5 Nut also did some work on that car, the head gasket and everything. So, yeah, it's had a lot of money spent on it. And there we go. Out comes the strut. And spring looking nicely rusty up at the top there. And then, yeah, something is bound up in there. I noticed the shock absorber seems to be spinning not very happily. So maybe that's part of our issue. Yeah. Something in there is not great. Well, we got it off. Let's just fill it with lube and see what happens. Should you do this? Absolutely not. I will point out that Bulldog BDX does not claim to be a rubber lubricant. I don't know what's going on, but clearly moisture has been getting in here because this boot is just absolutely shot. So, yeah. What do we do next, folks? Answers on a postcard. Right, so weeds are being whacked outside, so you have to apologise for the two-stroke noises. But annoyingly, this side doesn't seem as bad, but I can see, yeah, the boot has perished in exactly the same way, and you're not going to replace one shock absorber, are you? So I guess I'll be doing the other side as well. Right, folks, here they are off the car, and it looks like the driver's side has already been replaced with a KYB XLG. Nice shockers. Why would you replace just one? I don't understand. I've actually sent KYB a message to see if they still stock them. Obviously it's a Daihatsu, they probably don't anymore. Weirdly, Autodoc lists them, but it doesn't have this bit on the bottom, so I don't know if they're using a generic photo or what. But this is one unit, and this bottom bit is welded on both of them. So it's not like you can just take that and swap it over by the look of it. It is all one unit, and certainly the KYB listing for them shows this bit all part of the one unit. So that doesn't include this, which is covering a bump stop. I believe there's a bump stop inside here, I think. So I have to order those separately. And then there's still the question of, do we replace the strut mounts while we're in here? Probably about 30 quid a pair. So it's probably worth doing. But yeah, that's going to stop play. We're not going to get this finished today, so I shall now revert back to mucking about with a Vel Satis. I think we've got somewhere up here. We've got Autoglim Clean and Protect Complete Kit. So it's got cleaner, it's got balm, and it's got applicators. So that should be everything we need to clean up our seats. So thank you, Autoglim. It's not a sponsor, but they have just sent that as a freebie, so that's very kind of them. They've also sent some interior shampoo. They're obviously thinking I'm going to be more ambitious than I actually am, and an interior microfiber cloth. So we should be able to spruce up the inside of the Vel Satis very nicely. I'm going to have to wait for the strimming to stop before we can go outside though. And let's see what this Autoglim stuff does then. We need the leather cleaner, and I'm going to do, well, actually no, it'd be easy for you to see if I just do this half. So I'm just going to do this half, and we'll see how it looks after a clean. I'm going to read the actual instructions. Vacuum the interior. I actually have. Remove as much dust and dirt as possible. Shake well, test on an spray sparingly onto the surface. Gently agitate with sponge or cloth. And they give you a sponge specifically. After 2 minutes, remove with the high-tech Aqua Dry. So that's what that is. Right then. Allow the surface to dry to a natural finish. Then use the leather balm. So we will do that. So sparingly. Is that sparingly? Doesn't feel very sparingly. And then agitate with the foam. Some really deep creases here. And already I'm seeing some spots of weirdness where I suspect some repairs have been carried out on these seats. Yeah, I don't think that's sparingly. I think I may have overdone it on that. Oh wow, I can kind of see the creases diminishing right in front of my eyeballs. Okay, I think we're already starting to see a difference. And then we just wipe away the dirt and the cleaner with the high-tech cloth thing. Ooh, certainly there's dirt transfer in here. Yeah, this may take a few goes because these are particularly grubby, but I think already you can see a difference. Yeah, it's still quite dirty, but you can see the two panels I've cleaned and the two I haven't. Wow. Right, I'll keep going. There's a lot of leather in this car. I mean, it's definitely cleaner, but it's some way from perfect. It seems to lift some stuff off that leaves marks behind, so I think that's just, it lifts the stains, and the stains were actually protecting the leather. But it's still pretty grotty, isn't it? And again here, it seems to have left some little marks, but I think that was previous spillage that has now been lifted off and was preventing the dirt from actually getting into the leather. The driver's seat was absolutely revolting. Let's just pop around there. Yeah, this was really bad, and again we've got some staining that has been lifted by the cleaner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a few more goes, I think, before we start applying the leather care balm. The stuff that actually keeps your leather nice and supple. So I think that might be a job for another day, because I'm running out of time, as usual. Cleaning cars takes ages. I think I'm starting to realise why Hubnut is not a detailing channel. Jeepers, it's just a massive time thief. But it's definitely looking better than it was, so that's some good progress. Incidentally, the dashboard, now it's had time to dry, yeah, there's still some stickiness to it. I didn't really do these controls very much, so these controls are still very sticky to the touch. Get off, wasp! Pff, not interested. But yeah, this panel is also still a bit sticky to the touch, but the stereo is cleaned up really nicely, and this is all smooth now. But you can see the issue. If you start going too aggressive, you do actually start lifting the paint off, so you have to be a little wary. But yeah, I would say things are coming along nicely. We're still going to go over all the plastics and everything, but the seats are certainly looking better. Vacuumed out, so the floor's looking all good. I just need to go over the plastics now. A job for another day. Well, it's now Monday of the following week. Shall we see what differences have been wreaked upon the interior of the Vel Satis? Well, I haven't managed to clean the boot yet, but we have been using these Autoglim products, and I have to say, I think it's looking absolutely transformed in here. It's not perfect. I suspect more cleaning would be a good idea, but I've just used the balm. It's given everything a lovely smell in here. From where this car was, this is a complete transformation. Obviously I haven't finished tidying up yet because I'm professional. I've given this seat another go. I found using a towel rather than the foam applicator, it did seem to dig the dirt out of the pores a little more. And there's the passenger seat over there. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. That's looking a lot better. I think I'm going to go over the plastics now, and then for now at least, that's going to be interior complete. So I didn't ask for these items, but Autoglim sent them anyway. We've got their interior shampoo, cleans and freshens carpets, fabric upholstery and plastics. We haven't got a lot of fabric other than the carpets really. And then the interior microfiber. So hopefully these combined, we can get the plastics up to scratch as well. Let's go and record a bit of before we get stuck into this. There's things like the grubby door cards are looking a bit of a mess. The dashboard itself, it's all dusty, and yeah, just stained and looking a bit tired. So we'll give it a going over. Whether it'll do anything with this nonsense, I very much doubt it. Right, let's see where we are now then. Oh yeah, I've got the mats dirty. Trying to get the interior clean, but that's looking a lot better. The mats could definitely be a bit cleaner. I'm not really one for polishing up my mats. They're going to be filthy again in no time. It's more like just getting the base point somewhere nice. It's looking so much better. And that leather balm, oh, smells delicious too. So the seats are still dirty, but it's really difficult. You can't have too aggressive a cleaner or it starts sucking all the moisture out of the seats. So yeah, another downside for leather interiors, to be honest. I don't know why you'd bother. It's one of the reasons I love my Ford Fairmont and it not being a gear, because the gear has a sort of half leather, which is even worse, mixture of two worlds. It's got a good old cloth, nothing wrong with it. It's so comfortable. I really don't know what the advantage of leather is. I suspect it's a bit like caviar. I think it's mostly about bragging rights and going, look how posh I am. I've got leather seats. I'm eating caviar. No thanks, I'll just have a burger and cloth seats. Job's a good one. Actually, I'm going to stop there, jump into the future and entirely ruin my editing. I've acquired from Tim some spring compressors and some advice. Although, you know, to be fair, coil springs, MacPherson struts, not really Tim's league. He's a bit more lever arm dampers and trunnions or kingpins, but he has worked on enough more modern cars to understand what's going on. And there's one thing I need to show you before I get too carried away. And that's that if you actually put some pressure on here, and then try turning, it gets a lot easier, honest. It's really hard to try and demo it, but the strut top's probably not the issue here, because off the car the damper and the spring are kind of at maximum stretch. So there's maximum pressure on this point up here. So yes, this part here does spin within the shock absorber, but yeah, the only real issue we've got here is the state of this boot. You can get replacement boots, so I think we're going to replace those, and I think everything else we're just going to leave as is, but we can assess more once we're in and we can see whether these bearings are okay or not. The bearing is in this bit here. Get you a bit closer. So there you go. This bit swivels, this bit swivels, and this bit does not, because this is bolted to the top of your MacPherson strut tower, and therefore this, which is held in by the nut there, so that rod is threaded at this end and tied in up here, so that's nice and tight. So yeah, this must pivot within there, which may be getting reluctant to do so because oil and muck has got in there, but we're not really going to know unless we get it apart. So I've already got one here. I'm mildly terrified. Let's see if we can get it apart. Right, so this nut, I'm not going to leave my head over there even though it's fully tightened. That nut is what is holding this whole thing together. So this threaded bit is the top part of the shock absorber, and then the shock absorber is all this down to there. That is all part of the shock absorber, spring pan and coil spring. And the coil spring doesn't look great, but nor does it look entirely knackered. And I think we need to get a bit of stop spending money and actually get the car back together. So I'm going to hook these on and then be brave. Well, here we go then. It's brave pants time. Yeah, a little difficult to get that in there. I might have to use an extension, which doesn't feel like a great idea, but I'm lacking any suitable alternatives at this point. I've got a lovely short extension somewhere. Where have you gone? Nowhere to be seen, of course. I mean, it might help if I was a tidy person, but I'm not. Don't know if you noticed. No, absolutely no idea. No idea at all. I mean, is that enough? How do you tell? I'm kind of running out of gaps, so there isn't a lot more I can do. Also, it's screwing its way into my table. But yeah. That noise might actually be, you've got a bump stop in there. Yeah, if the bump stop swivels, it's the boot rubbing on the boot stop. But it feels nice and free actually once you get the weight off. Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Oh yeah. Now the spring is putting no pressure on that, so that makes me feel much better. Now what size is that? Anyone know? Let's try a 17. Yeah, that feels pretty 17-y. Here we go then. Let's hope this does come apart nicely and doesn't go shooting through the roof. The landlord would not be impressed. We're not dead. But with that done, yeah, maybe it isn't not actually a bearing. I'm not sure it's actually a bearing. Right, can we get that out of there? There we go. And a spring and bump stop, mildly trapped by the spring compressors. Let's slacken them off, because this is doing me a fear. Well, everything's apart now, so the danger should be over. Yeah, there really is no bearing. It's just a rubber washer, which seems very free to rotate as such. So yeah, the more compression is on that, the less it's going to want to turn. Now, my friend Steph in Tasmania did say it is possible to fit later Perodua items that have a bearing, but I don't think I care enough. I think I'm just going to clean all the faces up, maybe a bit of lubrication, and we can say that's good to go. And the springs off, the boot is entirely totaled, and it does have a bump stop within it. And I don't know, I mean, it's fully in that boot, so I don't think you can even get it out. But yeah, in there is your bump stop, so when the suspension bottoms out, it bottoms out on that. Okay, got this one apart as well, and immediately that is spinning so much nicer. This side has been done, but yeah, it is just a plastic on plastic with a suitable lubricant. That feels much happier than the other one. I might just go and grab it for a comparison. Hold on. Yeah, this one is all crusty inside, and you can hear that is not happy. Whereas this one, you have to, there's angle grinding going on in the background, ignore that. But that is so much happier than that one. So whether this can be cleaned up or whether that's just had it, I don't know. Let's look at the two of them, see if they show different signs of wear. Not particularly. I think it's just that this one is absolutely bone... Ooh! It's on the floor now. It's just that this one is absolutely bone dry. So yeah, I'll see what we can do about that, but I welcome your thoughts. But I think I'm going to order up a boot kit for both and take it from there. There is another test we need to do, and that's this one. Excuse the safety sandals. Shockers down, shockers up. Yeah, I would say one of those is returning slightly better than the other, wouldn't you? Just to make my editing world even more difficult, I'm now in Canvey Island a few days later, and I've got another little update. So we've got a difference between the two dampers. One quite squishy, won't come back out, the other one will. But that's because it's a gas damper, the second one. It's the KYB that's been replaced. And that's expected behaviour. Actually, it behaves like a gas strut, you know, on your tailgate. The oil ones absorb in both directions, but that doesn't mean they pressurise back out again. So it's not ideal. That means we've got two different dampers. That is not great from a handling point of view. So I think I'm going to order up, I might have to wait for payday, a pair of dampers, and we'll just get it done, because it needs to be done. We've got a non-matching pair. Let's not just replace one and leave one. Let's have a brand new pair on the car. Mr. Kitcher has managed to do some parts digging at Up and Down Videos, and has managed to find them for about 60 quid each, plus a boot kit on top of that. So more parts to be ordered, and then we will get that back on the road. Back to the action. Okay, can't progress this further. I'm going to need one damper, possibly two. Going to need a boot kit, so that brings us to a halt on that for now. Now to jump back in time to the Vel Satis. So that's the Sherard, and then on the Vel Satis, bodyworking next, so we can sort this out. Previous owner did that. I know what that feels like. I hit Giselle, my GSA, on that door there, scratched right down the side of it. I felt like such an idiot. That had even nicer paint. But yeah, cosmetic improvements on the outside will be next for the Vel Satis, and then we'll look at moving it on to a new home. I'm going to be asking 1295 once we've got the bodywork done. So if you're interested in a Vel Satis, email ian@hubnut.org. This one I think is going to be really nice by the time we're done. Otherwise, yeah, that's me done for now. I'm going to go hurtling off in Desmond, and yeah, we shall see you in a future video. Farewell. I will hopefully have some of these for sale at Rustival.